Nice event.
How many times
Obviously
have you played
close to my
Sawgrass?
heart because it's pancreatic cancer that my brother passed away from. So
How many times have you played Sawgrass so far now?
it's about the fourth, fifth time that I've been out there. Yeah, great place.
Yeah.
Great place. All right, now to your question.
No, we'll get to
No, I
business.
mean, okay, yeah, just overview of how things are going so far. Are you happy, upset?
Yeah, I've been pleased. One, because the participation, the amount of guys that are here. That's the number one thing that I look at because it's a voluntary off-season program, right? Next week is the mandatory mini camp, the only 3 days that the guys are required to be here. So I've been really pleased. Been having great participation, great effort. Guys are doing the right things. We've been able to work on some stuff that the coaches have, taken away from last season, or new ideas, new thoughts. We've been able to implement those, this spring, and really, just get stuff on film, really. But it's been a good off season so far.
Have you decided how you're going to handle minicamp yet?
I have.
Are you going to share that with us?
Probably not.
Doug, the news this morning that Leonard Floyd signing with Buffalo. How would you evaluate where your pass rush is now? And I know Trent said following the draft, you guys are not a finished product yet. So do you look at the market now and do you say, hey, is now the time to move because some of these guys are going to get scooped up?
Yeah, I mean, obviously he's a good player and guys are going to get scooped up. But listen, you also have to, you can't just jump at the first thing, that's there. And obviously, somebody has to fit your roster and fit, your structure financially and all of that. But, there's going to be guys probably going into training camp. There's going to be guys coming out of training camp that we'll take a look at. But those are all things for, conversations for down the road. And we've been pleased with the guys that are here and been working. And, we just got to get them better and ready to go.
How are you seeing coaches benefit from the Bill Walsh scholarship?
How have I seen that benefit, guys? Well, I tell you, it's been a good program. It's been a real good program. We've been able to not only implement it during the regular season, but also in the off-season program and bring guys in that can get on your radar screen, so to speak. And then the guys, for me, having Henry Burris last year and Greg Austin this year, and guys that are on offensive side of the ball that can work with the coordinator, work with myself. The quarterback coach, and be a part of what we're doing there. It's a really good pipeline for young coaches, young minority coaches to really. The emphasis is obviously the offensive side of the ball because a lot of times that tends to be a pipeline towards the head coaching position or a coordinator's position. So it's been a really good program league wide, and we take full advantage of it.
Have you had conversation with Josh Allen? Has he kept you up to date on where he is, when he's going to be here, and anything like that?
Yeah, Bill Shuey, his position coach, has probably talked to him the most and keeps me updated on where he's at and what he's doing. And he's working. He's not, he's not, taking this time off. He's working and preparing himself. We should see him in here next week.
What have you thought about Andre Sisco's progress heading into the season? He looks
Really
like he put on
good,
some muscle
really
weight.
good. A little bit bigger. A lot of confidence, healthy, and he's done a really nice job. Him and Rayshawn having a full season together last year is going to be better for those two, in the back end and the communication. But like where he's at, he's in a good place heading into the season, heading into training camp at least.
Last week you told us Ridley was going to be not full go, right? Going to be held back a little bit. And then he's in there like for the majority of the snaps. He said he even snuck in on some of them. Is that a good problem to have that he's, kind of...
Not that he's sneaking in.
That he's sneaking in is
Well,
a good problem to have, I guess.
It is, but look, it's some of the things that I'm doing with the team drills is I'm trying to eliminate collisions, so we're slowing the pace down so he can actually get in there. If you notice, he's not at full speed, right? He's not doing anything 100%, and nor is the rest of the team. So it's a way to kind of get him in there under a controlled tempo. But it's good to see him get in there, and he continues to learn and process the information, and he's doing good.
Is it hard not to let him go full speed just to see what you got there?
Well, we saw him early in phase two, kind of go full speed, and it's exciting to see what he can do and what he can bring, and at this time really too, because we even guys that are sort of nursing injuries from the season, right, that are still lingering, that it's a way to let them practice and get the mental reps in, under a controlled environment.
Kind of going back to the player acquisition stuff, DeAndre Hopkins obviously was released. I'm just wondering on your take from the team perspective if you guys would be interested in him.
I mean, it's hard to speak on guys, obviously, because we got a really good room right now, and it's hard to add someone of his caliber and his talent to a room that's already talented, you consider everything, but at this time, it's not a reality for us to bring someone like that in.
And then just Trevor Lawrence's sort of leadership growth. Where have you seen him develop in that area, and what do you expect moving forward?
I mean, yeah, he's second year with us, obviously third year in the league. So the development and the growth. We got to see the way he ended the season last year is what we got to see to start the season, right? And just continue that progression with him. And he's on the right track. He's doing everything that we've asked him to do. He's again a young player on our team. He's the key to the offense and makes it work. So he understands his role from the standpoint of put the ball in the playmaker's hands, but now having a full year of our offense under his belt too, that gives him a lot of confidence where, last year we were still teaching and he was still learning, and, he's still learning, but he's now teaching, the offense to the other guys.
Doug, if you go beyond any stats that Roy Robertson Harris racks up, what does he contribute to this football team that goes past any sacks or tackles or things like that?
Well, I mean, from the field standpoint, you look at what he did towards the back half. He's another one that really improved, the pressure rates and things like that, from a D-line position. Just a tremendous leader. Guys respect him, on and off the football field. He loves being here, and just a guy that really is another part of the culture of our locker room, and excited that we were able to sign him up for a few more years and get him here, and he comes to practice every day. He doesn't complain. He works hard, and those are the type of guys that even for a little bit older veteran guy, that's what you like to see, because that's a great message to the young guys on how to prepare and how to study and how to get themselves ready.
With Evan Ingram not here, that opened up a few extra reps at tight end. Have you seen any of the young players really able to kind of take advantage of those and start to stand out?
I mean, Garrett Prince, and Luke. I mean, Luke didn't get a ton of reps last year, so this is great for him, moving in there. And obviously with the Garrett Prince, just getting some opportunity there. And then, of course, with Brenton Strange, too. It's great that we can give him, more of a full load and see what he can do and what he can handle. But yeah, it's it is what it is. But it's exciting for the young guys that are here, because we get a chance to coach them and get them in a position to help us as we move forward.
Doug, obviously this time of year, everything's optimistic. Everybody's got hopes and dreams that think they get fulfilled. At this time, what is your biggest concern, if you have any, about either the roster or just anything that's pertaining to the organization?
Yeah, it's something that you think about quite a bit. I mean, number one, we got to come out of the offseason healthy. You don't want to set back with a player at this late in the state, or this late in the calendar year as far as the offseason goes, and everybody be healthy going into training camp. But, that was sort of I think one of the goals coming out of the draft and free agency. One, signing our own players, which we, majority of the guys we were able to sign, and then adding depth, adding guys that could potentially contribute on special teams, which we did in the draft. There's some young players that we really like, and it'd be great to see them, when the pads come on in training camp, and how they move around and function and all that. But I think from a standpoint of just the overall depth of the roster, I think we're in a better place than we were last year. But concern-wise, I mean, you look at the big picture of things. I mean, I like the fact that we've got some young secondary guys that can work inside and outside. There's some valuable players, there that could possibly help us. I mean, the depth at linebacker, depth at D-line. And we talked about the edge rush, the pass rush there, and, offensive line, we got deeper. This is one of the better top to bottom offensive lines that we've had in a long time. Here, receiver room looks good, running back room looks good. So, right now, I would say everything looks great, right? Ask me in about 3 months.
How well do you think this team will handle being the hunted in terms of, certainly within its own division, you guys are pretty strong favorites. How well do you think they'll handle that as opposed to being the hunter?
Yeah, no, that falls on me. That falls on me to make sure that they don't look past what we're trying to get accomplished today, and that's on me to make sure we don't look down the road. And last year's last year, and you just have to keep reiterating the point. Like, you know, I've said this in here before. It's, you know, it's a new team, it's a new season. You know, we got to start over, and that's got to be the mentality. You know, it's great what we did, but we haven't done anything in 23. You know, and we haven't played a football game yet. So, got a lot of work to do, but it falls on me to make sure that they stay level-headed and grounded and keep working hard.
We're going to wrap it right there.
Can you tell at this stage if a young pass rusher has gotten better with their pass rush technique? I'm asking about Trayvon, but I'm just curious. in
Technique,
general.
you can see it's hard. You don't have pads on,
Right.
so you can't do one-on-ones. We can't do anything, you know, from a physical nature. But you know, you can see it. You can see it in the drill work. You can see what he's trying to get done. You know, even when we are in some team settings, you can see some flashes there. So, yeah, you can definitely tell if a guy has been working on his craft and trying to get himself better.
And what are you seeing with Trayvon? In
He's getting
regards
better.
to that? Getting better?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's working on the things he needs to work on. And, you know, Coach Shuey's done a nice job with that this offseason, having a plan for the guys. And you know, and Trayvon knows he's got to work on some different things and you know, get himself ready to go.
Real quick, just off that, I know Trayvon has also worked with Coach Buckner a little bit more from what we've seen. That by design or just by nature of certain?
Well, Buck is your interior D-line guys. Bill's more your outside backer guys. So being able to cross over and work inside, you know, you're closer to the quarterback. And with Trayvon's length, there's some things that Buck has more experience in than Bill does. So there's going to be some crossover there.
Outstanding.
All right.
Thanks,
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Doug.
Thank you. Yep.
Thanks, Doug.
When Doug has alluded several times in the past few weeks to the culture and about how now this has become a program where people want to be here, whether it's free agents or whether it's veterans who want to re-sign. And Roy Robertson Harris looks like an example of that and everything. What does it say about what you guys have been trying to build that guys like him want to come back? And then what does Roy bring to this team that maybe goes beyond stats?
I think really what goes beyond stats is he's a guy that wants to be here. He does it the right way, and he's a leader. He's a guy that you watch on the film. He's running to the ball. He plays physical. He plays big for us. He helped us out in pass rush last year towards the end of the year, and he's just a guy that's loved to play ball, and that just spreads amongst the team.
What do you see out of it? Go ahead, Jamal.
How much growth have you seen from Devin Lloyd as he gets ready for the second year? I know last year he was kind of splash and then slowed down and hit that kind of rookie wall.
With Devin, he's in a good spot. He really is, mentally, physically, and you can just see he's playing faster. He recognizes things, and from a first-year linebacker to a second-year linebacker, you can see the progression he's making. And, you know, I'm excited for him. He's excited, ready to get this thing going, and, you know, looking for big things from him.
Trent talked about potentially using Devin as a pass rusher this season. I mean, how much of that have you guys actually implemented, and, you know, how would he fare in that area, I guess?
Well, really, Devin's an inside linebacker, and inside linebackers typically blitz. So when you line them up on the end of the line, which we've lined them up there, that's really not their forte. You know what I'm saying? But we need to give him more opportunities to blitz, which he did last year, and we'll just continue to do that. He has a unique skill set where he can rush the quarterback, but it's typically against running backs, possibly a tight end. But that's the type of matchups we want to get him into. But offensive linemen, you know, that's other people's areas.
How
much
has
do you think-
Trayvon Walker improved his pass rush technique?
You can see the growth. Last year was, I know you heard this, last year was a learning year for him. learned how to pass rush. Now he's to the point where he understands what he likes to do. I call it his superpower, you know, and I tell him all the time, use your superpower. And he has it, and he's working on doing that. And, you know, he's a guy that's always going to work hard, and he's always going to give you what you ask of him. And we're just excited for him this year.
Just talking about Trayvon and Devin a little bit, how much do you think people talk about, and you obviously know from playing in the league, they talk about the rookie year being the longest year of your life, how, you know, you're playing in a bowl game, then you're going to draft prep, and then all of a sudden you have to play a 16, 18 game slate. How much do you think for those two it was maybe they hit a rookie wall of sorts versus there was so much going on?
It really, there is a rookie wall. You can't say there's not, but I think Coach Pederson did a good job of maintaining a schedule where the guys got as much rest as they could. But after a while, it's mentally. Like you're doing the same thing every Wednesday for the next 16 weeks. Same meeting, same this. So you try to keep it fresh for the guys, and it's hard to do, but they, just talking to those two especially, they understand how to get away from the game now as far as weekends, go home, get away from it, then get on the iPad, doing different things to be able to stay fresh throughout the season. And they've been through it one time, and next time they should be more prepared for it.
You've seen a lot of linebackers. What is it about Ventrell Miller that you guys really wanted him here in Jacksonville?
It was that room. I think there's a coach down there at Florida that I coached in the league, and I talked to him, and he gave me the inside scoop, what type of player he was, and we're excited to have him here. Now he's in a room that's stacked, so just like Coach said, there's going to be a lot of competition in that room. A lot of depth was built, and you know, the best guys are going to go out there and play. So he has to work his way. Special teams will be, you know, key for him this year, but you know, he's another guy to add depth to the team.
Doug talked about the depth in the secondary. You guys re-signed Dewey, but then you also drafted Antonio. How much of that do you think is also, and I know Doug talked about this a lot last year, just the natural progression of the NFL to more of, I don't want to use the term 7-on-7, but knowing it's a passing league, knowing you need to have as many possible options to defend the pass?
That's right. You have to have cornerbacks, you have to have pass rushers, and safeties are an important role because they can do so many things. And they're also the quarterback of the defense at times. So they're able to handle situations. We have a bunch of guys that are smart back there. That room, second to the linebacker, is probably the deepest room. You know, there's a bunch of depth back there. So we're just able to take those guys, and it's tough on us to find a way to get everyone on the field, but that's a good problem to have because we have guys back there that can make plays. Cisco, Jink, Dewey, DT, and now Antonio. You know, we got a bunch of guys that are able to make plays, so we'll just line them up and let them go.
As a linebacker, is it sad to see the rise of the DB? And, you know, like you said, the linebacker room is deep, but this focal point league-wide on the secondary and defensive backs.
It's really not sad when you look at it. Just like the quarterback, there's a guy there that everyone trusts. The guys will look to a safety, but everyone trusts a linebacker. So we have a few that we have one that has a strong voice and is a really, really good player. But then we have other guys that their voice is starting to come, and guys will start to trust those guys also.
Mike, how much did you grow as a coach last year and your first year as a coordinator, and you know, what are some things that you took away from that experience as you go into year two calling the defense?
Well, as a coach, you go back and you look at everything. You go back and you self-scout. I looked at some of the stuff we did early, then the middle of the season, then the end of the season, and you can see really I liked what we did as we, I guess, progressed toward the end of the season. Now this year, it's time to see what I want to take from the beginning and add to the end and just piece it together. But I think the main thing is not really me. It's the way the players were comfortable. They got used to doing certain things, and they did those well, and we continue to let them do it, and that's the way it goes. So each year we'll go out there and we'll try some new things, put guys in different positions, do different coverages, fronts, but at the end of the day, we'll have identity, and we'll build that. You know, every year is a new year.
Why do you think the pass rush made strides toward the end of the season? How much of it was maybe playing with a lead a little bit more often than you had been in the first half of the year, and how much of it was just guys getting better or just playing better in the moment?
I think that helps playing with the lead, but also what helps the pass rush is the coverage. And I think like toward the end of the season, Trey Herndon, he doesn't get a lot of credit, but toward the end of the season, he kind of settled us down. He played the nickel role, and certain games you didn't hear his name called. And when you don't hear a guy's name called, that's a good thing at the DB. Now, you might give up a pass here, a pass there, but when you don't hear his name, that allows the other 10 guys to really excel. And I think that helped. And then our pass rush started to pick up, and then you didn't hear anybody's name in the back end. So it goes hand in hand.
What's the competition like at that nickel spot? Is anybody there pushing Trey?
Well, everybody is. Right now, everybody has a clean slate. We're going to go at it, and the best guys to get out there. The young guys brought in here, we have some talent there. They're still learning their way, and we'll throw them out there, get them as many reps as we can in training camp and OTAs and the mandatory minicamp. And once we get to, that first preseason game, we'll have an idea and throw them out there again, see what sticks, and, put the best guy out there.
Just here, good look. Can his skill set, just how unique it is, actually become an advantage for him against tackles who aren't used to playing against a player like him?
I think when you look at Yasir, he's been that size all his life, and he does it a different way. You see guys around the league, typically you go and everybody wants a 6'5", 265-pound outside linebacker. That doesn't work for everybody, right? Some guys are 6'2", 236. See a guy playing in the Super Bowl that's that size. So there's multiple ways to do it. And once you get used to doing it, if you can play the run, you're tough in the run game, and then you're slippery in the run game also, and then you can use your speed to get on the edge, there's a place for that.
If you could take us kind of behind the curtain, Yasir's recruitment, if you may, going through the draft process, was he a guy you identified, or was there another coach who identified him and also identified the need for that different change of pace edge rusher?
Well, that's the thing. As a staff, we get together and we kind of self-scout each other. And we kind of looked at it, what do we need? And you hear it all the time, a change of pace. Because we have Trayvon, we had Josh, Caleb Vaughn, last year we had Key, we had Smoot, we had bigger rushers. So I was always harping on, let's get somebody a fastball. And Yasir is that guy that can get around the edge along with Caleb Vaughn and put pressure, but also be stout in the run game. So you're not giving up anything in the run game, but you're also just throwing a different pitch to the offense.
You didn't get much of a look at Jordan Smith before he got hurt in OTAs last year. What have you thought about him on the field this year?
With Jordan right now, he's another one. That position has a bunch of depth. Coach Shuey, Coach Buckner, they're molding those guys into what we want. And Jordan's another one. He's tall, he's long, he's athletic. So we just want him to get back healthy and see what he can do out there.
When you look at some of those young guys and you kind of see some of the tools start to come together, when people keep suggesting maybe the Jags go after a veteran pass rusher, do you look at it and say, well, if we do that, then we take away this opportunity from some of these young players who could grow to be really good players?
You always want to have options. And the more guys we have, the more options we have, the better chance we have to put the best guys out there. And whether it's an old guy, a new guy, whoever's here, we're going to get them in here. We're going to coach them up the best we can and roll them out there. They're going to play like Jags, and that's how we do it. Now, if we go get a veteran guy, fine. If we don't, fine. Whatever we have here, that's what we're going to work with.
Have you had any contact with Josh Allen?
Oh, yeah. Talk to Josh, text back and forth, but Josh is in a good place. He's working hard. He talks to Coach Shuey, he talks to myself, Coach Buckner, so we understand where he's at. Now, we'd love him to be here, but again, it's voluntary, and Josh is a good worker, so we know he's putting in the work.
Cool. Thanks, y'all.
Appreciate it, Coach.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
All right. All right, Coach.